And welcome back to Berlin, where it's all come down to this, the third and final game between Fnatic and the Unicorns of Love. Fnatic have side choice on game number 3. They have picked blue side. They were given Varus first pick in game number 1, and Racked. He defeated the Unicorns of Love after Unicorns gave the game to them on a silver platter.
Well, or Fnatic defended.
Both.
It's both.
Yeah,
it's both.
It's a little bit of both, right?
Where's positive Trevor when we need him?
Let's pull him out right now. What is Fnatic and Unicorns going to ban? Fnatic have been, fairly standard amongst some of the bans.
Unicorns so far been very successful with banning Elise and Elise.
Yep.
Take them away from Broxa, remove some of his early pressure. He's been put on like a farming jungler like Graves, who obviously can have early impact, but not really been able to snowball his lanes. Like, we haven't actually seen Broxa do a whole lot in the early to mid game, where Xerxes on Rengar, especially in the last game, able to pull off a lot of different ganks. So it's been a successful strategy, and they should just keep doing it. Get rid of the Elise now as well. And then, actually, no, they might leave Elise open because they need to get Varus and LeBlanc off the table.
That's tough, but then what do Fnatic ban instead? Rengar removed now from Xerxes.
Yeah, and then normally we see LeBlanc here almost every time. And then Elise is actually left open. In the first game, they didn't ban the Varus. Obviously backfired a little bit, so that's what they're changing. Now, you're not going to first pick Elise. She's not high enough priority normally, and it's going to be the Jhin. Unicorns could just play Ashe against it, and we'll be perfectly fine with that.
Hey, it's a comfort pick for Samux.
Give me Malzahar Ashe here. Love that.
Okay.
Unless you want your Graves.
Would you pick Zyra this early?
No.
With Malzahar up?
Malzahar, you can go like Malzahar, Graves, and then Ashe in the next rotation, and you have like really, really strong setup. I don't think Renekton is necessary this early on, but
Visit Chachi disagrees.
Well, for Chachi, maybe the fact that Shen is banned and he feels like that is his answer to it, then he wants to take it early. Now, Gnar has been used a lot against Renekton, not necessarily to dumpster him in lane, but to kind of stay even and kite. Now, Malzahar again is available, and Graves, two like really high priority picks, and they go for none of them. That is so surprising. Why do you need Caitlyn now?
We said Unicorns of Love, they play standard. They don't do wacky things. The
pick order's always been a little bit different for them.
Yep.
Now, what I think it is the fact they can play Lulu Kate, which is an old school in the European scene. And obviously, if Malzahar gets locked in now by Fnatic, they can then take their Lulu against it. But man, that is still so risky. Broxa gets his jungler, finally. And he can actually have some early game impact. Someone, for the love of God, pick Malzahar.
All right, Malzahar, come on, Fnatic, do it. If you know it's going to be into the Lulu, does that minimize some of the preference?
Malzahar is overpowered. You can literally just click R on someone, and that's almost a guaranteed kill for your team. But apparently, both teams are waiting with it. So interesting priority. Rumble against Renekton. That is what I call an explosive top lane matchup that can go really wrong for the Rumble.
Rumble Elise can also go really well.
It can.
If Brox is able to have some early game impact.
But obviously, we're getting into weird territory here. Ivan is back, baby. Ivan is back.
Maybe for Xerxes, he never left.
Unicorns are sacrificing the early game jungle pressure in terms of the damage that can be brought onto it. So the skirmish is in favor of Fnatic. Ivan, of course, can gank, definitely gank early on, but he doesn't really want to fight 2v2 or 1v1. He doesn't offer a whole lot of DPS there. So Zed being banned away signals that Unicorns might opt into a first pick mid lane. Syndra is available, Ryze was available just before, but gone now.
And of course, Orianna is not, I have said this every pick and ban, disabled in the EULCS this weekend. Jace, another mid lane champion removed from the pool. One more option here for Fnatic, and Unicorns can get their sort of pick of the litter of whatever is left. No support pick locked in yet. Malzahar still available.
Now, I feel like with Fnatic, they were like, you know what, we have Elise, so we can pick Rumble, and we can then get past the early game that way, because we have the jungle pressure on that side. And Renekton can't just straight up dive Rumble that easily without Elise nearby. Katarina ban against of course, Exile, because there is already the Ivern. So we mentioned the Syndra when we saw the Zed ban. So that has been locked in now. And I'm still thinking Unicorns want to get that Lulu support if they see a Malzahar on the side, or something like the Zillion again, which hasn't been picked.
What would Fnatic want to run into this Syndra with all the mid lane bans removed from the pool? Caps has played a number of champions. He's actually played Malzahar mid before, just as an aside.
Yeah. Didn't go too well.
It didn't. Ooh, Vladimir!
Love it.
There's some scaling on your side.
There's a lot of scaling, and I'm not going to die to your ulti because I have a pool from Caps. We'll get pressured early on, for sure. We'll get pushed in. Much easier for Syndra to push before Vladimir gets a few levels. But a pick we've seen a bit over in LCK as well. Also across the world. A few Vladimirs has popped up here and there after some of the recent buffs he got. Fnatic are not taking the Malzahar, will not allow Unicorns to pick the Zillion or the Lulu against it. So Unicorns kind of baiting out, haha, if you pick Malz, we have counters. If you don't pick it, then we can take it. But obviously Malz against Zyra is not a great lane matchup.
No.
So Hylissang now needs to decide if he wants to play something like Karma instead against the Zyra, or if he wants some engage on the side of Unicorns.
If you wanted some engage, I mean, Alistar was banned
still
last
just go
game.
Malzahar, and there's the engage as well.
There we go. So it is engage 2. Malzahar locked down, not the order at all that we were anticipating. Priority list shifted.
I mean, this is such a different pick and ban phase. We got some old school picks in here with the Iron coming back in for them. Vladimir, of course, has kind of snuck his way back into the meta. With all these mid lane bans, I feel like Caps were just kind of running out of things to play and felt like this was now the best option. We'll give some late game, as you said. But if you look at it, like Vladimir ulti, Rumble ulti, normally you want to pair that with some sort of like lockdown, some sort of like, especially AoE lockdown, so you really can get these ultis across here. It's just a Zyra knockup as you kind of AoE CC, and that is so rarely used as an engage tool. So you might have one of these situations where Fnatic are relying on Unicorns a lot, kind of grouping together and, you know, sticking very close together in like choke points or just walking into like a river, and then boom, you get the ultis.
But this time around, the team composition from UOL may be a little bit more inclined to do that.
I mean, again, it's super exciting to see like this. The Fnatic combo is extremely difficult to execute as well, with zero tankiness.
To Fisher, the two teams on your stage, Fnatic and UOL, they are tied at 1-1. That Vladimir, the first of the European LCS.
It's your most tanky member.
Is the most tanky, the sustain, the survive, the unkillableness. Vladimir makes his appearance on 7 Point here in EU. He's featured in NA, LPL, LCK. As you've mentioned, Fisher, and now Caps pulls it out as well, adding it to an ever-growing list of champions. You guys at home, you know the deal. Hashtag FNC win, hashtag UOL win. Who will be victorious? Fnatic, the third place team from Group A, or UOL, currently tied for first in Group B. It was a deciding match here in the final week of cross-group play, and we've thrown out everything that Deficio thought he knew out the book, out the bag.
It's just like Ivern. I'm looking so much at Ivern here because you run Syndra, you run Renekton. So often do you want to have like a strong skirmish jungler with that, and you just apply so much like pressure in like 2v2 situations and dives. Ivern needs his level 6 in order to do that, so he's more of a scaling jungler. That's why he was such a popular pick in Europe. His late game was insane. Now he has to kind of work with these very early to mid-game focused champions in Syndra and Renekton. I want to see how that's going to work for Xerxes. Obviously, he can gank. He just doesn't want to get counter-ganked by something like Elise. And Vladimir as well. I mean, mentioned, he was the most tanky member here. Yes, again, you get a bit of extra HP, but seeing as you stack mainly just like Death Cap, Void stuff, yeah, you get an Hourglass as your main tank, and it's like, you take a lot of damage. You're not a tank by any means. You don't go for the Warmox build.
It's also the way that you're going to play, right? The way you play Vladimir on the front line, using that Q, sustaining up as best you can. His passive, that'll get you additional HP from AP. It has been a long 2 days. But we mentioned all the way back in game 1 to Fisher, how Exile and Caps had the highest amount of solo kills for mid laners.
Yep.
Caps was leading, Exile just behind. This is a matchup where Exile in the early levels can bully, and if Caps missteps, gets stunned before he can Sanguine Pool, maybe there's an opportunity, but it is very difficult.
But it's also the kind of lane where you as the Syndra, you feel like you're on the clock, because Vladimir is just going to sit there, he's going to try and like keep the lane even for as long as possible and just scale. And you get to that point where you want to kill him, ultimate he pulls, you're like, damn, I didn't kill him this time. He starts sustaining back, you know, and you stop winning these trades. Always one of the problems. I want to see the build from Caps. See a lot of different ones, always Vladimir. Protobell, it used to be a big deal on him. Always very strong to get a bit of extra mobility and burst damage for himself. Yeah. But again, Exile, getting some early trades down, but also taking a lot of damage in return, so not really in his favor yet.
Not just yet. Caps stepping forward aggressively, as so does Soaz, using those Electro Harpoons at the very least, the early few levels, obviously in Rumble's favor, as Renekton gets a couple levels under his belt, most likely a Hex Drinker at some point. Actually, very obviously a Hex Drinker at some point. That'll help him out in the laning phase.
Exactly. When the top side, yeah. When the top side is Rumble, Elise, Vladimir, you're getting some magic resistance. Would have been a case where like a Graves would have loved it. You know, yeah, just go early Hex Drinker, fantastic for him. Not in this case though with the Iron. We're gonna get the redemption, we're gonna get the Locket. Chachi has to be careful because the Elise is on the side of Fnatic. You normally want to pair Renekton with Elise because then you have like almost guaranteed kills on ganks and dives. Not this game though, so give some early pressure. On
the assumption that Broxah lands those cocoons, picks the right place at the right time. So let's find out where Broxah decides to prioritize his time. Rekkles takes a lot of damage from that combination of Hilly and Samux.
Broxah is spotted.
Where is he going? Broxah can use that blast cone if he wants to, but there's nothing to steal jungle-wise in this side of the jungle from UOL. A couple of pings from Xerxes, also, like, you know, potentially anticipating.
Good trade, always worth it as a jungler to trade your flash for the enemy mid laner, especially when it's the likes of Syndra with no extra mobility. So good to get that flash off. There's a Ghost for Exile, but because of the way the Ghost works now, it's like slow charging in the start. It's not gonna save you when Elise ganks with Cocoon. Only if you spot her very early on. Still fun to see.
Such a fun animation.
It looks like, that's so slow. It's like, and then you start running.
That Austin Powers kill where he uses that ground press. Takes him 45 seconds to drive.
To charge it up
20 meters. All right, Xerxes, let's take a look. Trigger Seed has been used. Where's the root caller? I think that was actually blocked out by one of those plants, and Jez is able to walk away. Rekkles Flash was blown in exchange for Hillies.
Yeah.
So there is some repeats gank opportunities here for both teams.
Another fun thing about these comps is how both teams have like champions very focused on early parts of the game, and then champions very focused on later parts of the game, like Caitlyn, Ivern, great late game scaling, Vladimir, fantastic late game scaling. And then you see the Rumble Elise in here to get some more punch in the early to mid game as well on the side of Fnatic. Especially Soaz wants to get out of this lane here, and when he can then join a fight. And like, if the AoE hits, like imagine this. Vladimir ulti into all the AoE damage from a Rumble ulti and Zyra using everything she has will kill almost everyone. But then the redemption and the locket comes in from Xerxes to try and prevent people from dying.
And all the shields from his kits as well.
And all the shields from him. Samux wants to stay so far back, and then suddenly Fnatic can't get to him because Fnatic don't really have anyone who's going to reach the backline easily because there's no Ghost on Caps.
Well, the thing is, Unicorns will be asking, where were you when the team fight damage hits? That's what we're going to find out. If Unicorns are all grouped up, well, they might be back in the base dead looking at a grayscale screen. And that's what Broxah wants to do to visit Chachi.
Everything's just so ulti dependent on the side of Fnatic in their fights.
Spotting the war down in the river, so Broxah's going to be aware of it. Actually avoids and puts a control ward down, matched by Exile.
Always the awkward moment.
Level 6 for Soaz. Equalizer is going to get thrown down into Dominus, and Vizichachi sidesteps an overheating Rumble with Flame Spitter, doing a lot of work, and Broxah gonna find another control ward. Xerxes in the area though.
Yeah, Broxah finding a lot of wards here, clearing them out as well. People respecting Elise. And Vizichachi traded ultis. No flashes used, and he's now around mid lane again. No flash from Exile, but spotted.
Broxah's looking though. He's trying to find something.
He gets outscaled in the jungle matchup.
He's farming relatively well. Should steal away a couple of these baby raptors. Ends up being a little bit messy there for Xerxes.
I've actually never seen that one before, where he didn't get, because the last one just stepped out and kind of reset. Oh, he's dead. No! Oh, he's dead. Okay, he's dead, he's dead. Woo!
Oh, I was waiting for that pop.
Last tick, love that. Charging up the E from Caps, flashing in. Ulti, Q, Ignite. Exile with no flash. Remember, the Vladimir getting all the farm he needs, getting first blood. This is huge for Fnatic and Caps.
Unassisted kill by Caps onto Exile, adding to the tally. Jesus is running away for his life, has a flash available, uses summon a heal from Reckless instead. Or rather, Reckless uses, ooh, that Piltover definitely made my pacemaker skip a beat. These Unicorns of Love throw down the brush in front of the tower. Broxah, no flash, but does have a cocoon. Slightly optimistic, his Reckless running low on ammo. And yeah, the solo kills, it happened. Caps hits level 6, shuts down Exile, and gets first blood.
Love the play from him. Aggressive move from Caps. This time around, he knew it was a safe play to make because Broxah was nearby. Look at the wards on your minimap as well from Fnatic on top side. So no one could have ganked the Vladimir. Like Iron ganking Vladimir is not going to be very effective either. So really, really good setup this time from Fnatic as a team, allowing Caps to go for that 1v1 kill, and he went for it straight away.
And that's the kind of Caps plays that, honestly, I was hoping to see after all the hype around this kid coming into the splits.
Charge up to E, and then you can flash with it. There you go, flash in, boom, ulti, and Q.
Boom, boom, boom.
Keep saying boom, I don't know why.
It's your buzzword, and
no, but it started yesterday.
Dracos uses popping off. I used it today.
Popping off?
Yeah, popping off, pop up. They're popping. I don't even know how to use it, which is why I felt so awkward when I did in game 1, because his word. But yeah, dude, you should do a boom counter.
I think I've at least said it 10 times, at least.
This time it actually makes sense, because Soaz can throw down his ultimate, and it goes boom, and Unicorns are going to die.
But it could also be bam, a pow.
Diversify, use different words, let's see if you can.
Or I can just say he's doing a lot of damage.
I like that too.
You know, it's annoying.
Vizichachi does a lot of damage right now. Got the Tiamat. Not early MR just
Not enough
yet.
to impress us, Trevor.
Not enough to impress us. Okay, I'll see. I have faith in Vizichachi.
No. We want the Vladimir ult and to Rumble ult. That's what we like. Oh, is that a pull?
Sanguine pull. Exile gets caught by the Hemo Plague, but Exile decides not to throw down the unleashed power. That Hemo Plague did not amplify a whole lot. Caps obviously just sitting on that Fiendish Codex.
So still, good for Fnatic with the first part here. Nothing game-changing just yet in this series. Caps will end up being a monster, most likely. Iron is here to try and prevent some of that AoE damage from Fnatic. And he's been getting a very slow early game where Broxah has been assisting with, like, forcing the flash from Exile,
a
lot of vision, but he's not been able to really pull off further ganks.
Yeah, and that's allowed Exile to get to his ultimate. So Daisy's available if anybody wants to go for some tower dive style plays. That little Void Crab eating an Electro Harpoon. And Vizichachi gets some candy, picks up that red buff.
One of the good things about Iron, as always, is you can gift these buffs. So Chachi gets red, Exile got blue. Chachi needs to get something up in this lane here.
It's Officio. Now I know Unicorn's team composition is not necessarily built towards, you know, early game, obviously with the Ivan, although you can debate that a little, but like, this is 10 minutes in. Fnatic got a solo kill in the mid lane. And looking comfortable, pushing a lot up top. Vizichachi threatening a dive. At what point does Unicorns of Love like have to make a play?
I mean, that's the thing, you know, for them, because Fnatic's comp is so execution heavy, like with ultis, in team fights, at any point Unicorns can win a fight.
Okay.
Like, that's the thing. If you mistime a Rumble ulti or a Vladimir ulti, then the combination that Fnatic has been building is not going to be very effective. And then suddenly the Iron with his shielding, with his locket, the Caitlyn late game, you know, they're going to start like kind of this kiting back and out-trading, out-sustaining Fnatic in a fight in that case. That's cool, like, it's fun to watch these team fights. We'll see more of them later. Chachi is now on the Soaz.
That's an overheating Rumble, Flame Spitter and Minions. Look at Chachi, look at his player cam. That is a massive facepalm. Holy moly.
Now, I know we can always turn around and say it was an outplay, but man, that was just terrible by Chachi. He literally was building up the ulti and the rage, steps in and saw us like just kind of pressing Q in his face, like, okay. He didn't have ulti on Rumble. He didn't need it.
Didn't even have it.
No, he didn't have it.
Equalizer was used a minute before.
Oh, Chachi, man, he was building up, you know, getting the courage to ask the girl out, and then he just got a straight no. and a slap in the face at the same time.
Oh, will he get slapped again? Where's the Cocoon? Onto Vizicachi. Repel, not going to be in time.
A bit of revenge. A bit of revenge.
Will be able to escape. Xerxes going to get caught out here by the Stranglethorns, but Hylissang makes his way up. Nether Grasp not available to him. We flashing forward for Caps. Scatter the Weak comes out in Exile. I don't think that Hemo Plague's going to kill him.
But he's forcing Exile back. And that is so important. So Source will get top lane damage. Kachachi came back, died again. Trade for bot lane though.
Who gets first tower? Who gets first tower?
Bot line is 3 people. 4 with Daisy.
It's going to be picked up by Unicorns of Love. Just ahead of Soaz. Tower first blood to make up for the lack of kills from Unicorns of Love.
Oh, so now Renekton now, let's see. Oh, come on. Look, you see the big play. So he charges up the ulti, gets some rage. It's like, okay, I can burst this guy. He's 4 HP, Chachi.
And the flash.
Source literally just pressed Q and autoed him. I'm not sure Source really understood what was happening there. It's like, okay.
That was a beautiful summary of game 1 of Fnatic versus UOL.
Chachi didn't get the girl.
Unicorns of Love pressed a lot of R's, threw themselves at Fnatic, but Fnatic won. And your analogy is particularly mean, young Deficio.
Well, this time he didn't. Next time he will, maybe. Let's see, let's see. Chachi, though, is a man we like. Fantastic top laner, and a one-off mistake, it happens every time.
Yeah,
not every time, it happens sometimes. If it happened every time, you would be a pretty bad player.
It's been a taxing series because there has been a lot of action, there has been a lot of skirmishes, and it's been an emotional roller coaster. The grasp onto Broxah. Unleash power is available as well. Broxah's stunned and taken down. It's Hylissang that gets the kill. Here comes Soaz. That's a pretty good equalizer. Looking to burn down Hilly. Shuts him down. Soaz is on a killing spree, and Vizicachi wants to try kill him. There's some candy for the taking in the pits, and Soaz flashes away to save his life. There's no ulti for Caps, remember, because he tried to get that solo kill. Vizicachi, he fancies his chances. Sanguine Pool, Tides of Blood. Ruthless Predator's going to time out as well, so Chachi doesn't even stun Caps.
Well, let's see if the Unicorns here, they're going in to try and defend. 4 members from Fnatic pushing. Broxah back in base. We'll get some damage on tower at least, which is important.
Fnatic are currently dictating the pace of this game. Caps gets stunned up, gets stunned a second time, and the curtain call is pulled to save Caps' life. To go back to that point, Fnatic at 4 wins and 4 losses. This split is currently pushing and bullying Unicorns of Love around, who are at 6 and 2. Fnatic, they're not done yet.
Now again, we're defending on the side of Unicorns. Good ulti here from Jess. He's trying to force them away from the turret. Just don't have enough damage and minions.
No minions.
Take it down. No ultis.
No ultis.
So they have to just back away. So we got to see Source here. 3-0 Rumble. This guy is fed at the moment, and he's so important in this click R composition from Fnatic, where every ulti counts. Except for the Elise, your ulti is useless.
Yeah, it still counts in the early game. Was used a little bit, at least, by Broxah. Couldn't get away from the tower in that top lane dive. And looking at the minimap, it doesn't look like UOL will be able to respond quickly enough.
No, and that dive, you know, from Broxah, even with him dying, was totally worth it because he got TB from Chachi, denied him another wave, and Source got the tower. So it was a big dive. Ulti used.
All right, where's the flashes? Soaz and Caps don't have one. So equalizer just for that one.
Oh, Exile.
Oh, this is going to be problematic. The Cocoon catches him out. Deadly Flourish and sink the Fangs in. Where? I mean, why?
The thing is here, so Fnatic...
I don't quite understand.
Fnatic just took the dragon. They have full control in that river, and I think Exile probably expected him to have recalled and thought he could just take a wave easily. But Fnatic just catch him out and Soaz.
Everybody's being caught out. Nether Grasp onto Soaz. That's going to lock him in place. Vizicachi should be able to close this one out, and he does. Fnatic get themselves a tower, and with the shutdown gold going over to the Unicorns, this is getting spicy, Deficio.
It is. Everyone's just kind of wandering around, and then suddenly they die. Top lane tower will now go down. Chachi will take that one. No TP from Source to defend. That suddenly means we have all the side lane turrets, tier 1 turrets, down. I'm gonna trigger a few people on Twitter by saying long lanes, Trevor.
It feels like with a Ivern, will it be slightly less useful for Unicorns of Love than the Rengar?
Yeah, the long lanes are not as important. in this game. Not as much split pushing going on. A lot of team fighting, though, is going to happen. That's what we want to see, though, from both teams.
Right, and indeed, those Zyra plants helping out, keeping Samox and Hylissang a little bit busy as Fnatic continue to siege this mid outside. It's the last one remaining.
Exile is on his way because he knows it's about team fighting. This is going to be an ARAM game where you push the lane, the side lane, and then it's slow pushing, and then you go join your team and you say, guys, it's 5 on 5.
Are my speciality, Deficio. I can cast that one.
Well, you will have to, because this is going to be one of those games where you have to yell equalizer a few times. We most likely will see Unicorns have a few fights where they get out of these ultis, and then suddenly, you know, the consistent DPS of Syndra, of Caitlyn, is going to be enough for them to win a fight. But we're also going to have those team fights where Fnatic just blow it all up instantly.
Talking about confidence and looking at how these teams are playing, Fnatic, despite the 2 games, despite, you know, honestly being the weaker of the 2 for games 1 and 2, coming back into game 3, a little more confident, a little bit more capable. Obviously, so is being donated a kill by Vizicachi helps. There's no denying that.
Caps took a kill in mid as well, which was very good from him. So the Soul Laners got rolling early. No, stun here.
It is indeed. Reckless is able to flash away. That's a very good equalizer. But the Stranglethorn's not going to buy enough time. Caps is down. Brox and Soez going to get run down. Curtain Call is up. There may not be enough damage. Soez is killed. Unicorns get 1 as Broxer repels over the wall. So it's going to be able to run just yet as Reckless runs out of ammunition. Cocoon buys a couple extra seconds. And Broxer down to 50 HP. 1 more shot is all that's needed. Exile's stunned under the tower, but it's Chachi that had the aggro.
And here we had one of those fights where the ultis from Fnatic simply wasn't enough. Got 2 of them down, but then Redemption came in from this Iron here, and you saw how the carry stayed alive from Unicorns of Love, and they can suddenly turn it around because Fnatic, while they have the Vladimir, it's not enough tankiness to just stay alive versus Syndra, Caitlyn, even Renekton. They see 2 members fall. Goal lead now, Unicorns of Love. And they celebrate, like we did yesterday.
That gets dark.
That gets very dark
Watching
very quickly.
Xerxes get fed.
So, Exile, so aggressive though. Rumbles is down here now, same with Caps' ulti, but Redemption from Xerxes is enough though to kind of keep everyone alive, and no follow-up damage from Fnatic. That's what they're gonna lack, like, and that's what we mentioned before, like, no Ghost from Vladimir, and no one else who really dives the backline. It's like, we're gonna reach the backline with like a Rumble ulti, but it's gonna be hard to get there. So if Fnatic, due to Ivern, when he gets his locket as well, which is completed now, Fnatic might always just lack a little bit of damage when it comes to finishing the squishy carries, and that goes in favor of Unicorns then.
That is a terrifying concept. Okay, Caps is caught up with the Nether Grasp. Sanguine Pool's going to be able to get him out of range. Now Samox, though, why did you walk that far forward? Gonna get a lot of shields, a lot of heals. Redemption, the delay is too slow. Samox over-eager to make something happen. Scatter the Weak doesn't stun anybody from Fnatic, and Vizicachi, he's gonna at least do a walk-by as Fnatic continue to siege the mid lane. It's ARAM for days.
It really is ARAM. We said it, you know, it's all about slow pushing side lanes and then 5v5 mid for both teams right now. There's no ulti from Soas. That's important. Samox will regret stepping out towards that bottom lane brush.
I love that vision toggle. Thank you very much, observers. Equalizer. Remember, fire beats grass, and that sends UOL packing. The tower falls at 21 minutes, and Fnatic, despite losing the previous team fight, they punish Samox for being far too advanced in the lane, and Fnatic get their tower.
I said we're gonna have one for Fnatic, then one for Unicorns. Next one.
Whose turn is it? Whose turn is it?
I mean, technically it would be Unicorn's turn.
Okay, so let's find out. Caps, Tides of Blad, and Transfusion. Look at that big heal. Spamming those Qs, no flash or ignites available to him, and actually no ultimates for Soaz either. Without those ultimates, Fnatic are a little bit more hard-pressed, as there's a lot of skirmishing tools available to UOL.
As we highlighted before here, for Fnatic, it can be a little bit difficult if it's wide open areas they fight in, because they don't have that CC to kind of lock down people in the AoE.
Now we're 22 minutes into the game. If anybody has just joined us, game 1, Unicorns steamrolled ahead, and after picking up 5 inhibitor kills, they couldn't close it out. Despite multiple Barons, despite Elder Dragon. This time around, Baron is available. Broxah, a little bit of pressure as Jesus flashes over the wall. Broxah will go down here to exile. Simply too much hard CC, and UOL, knowing there's no smite, they've turned for Baron.
You have to remember how good Ivan is around Barons with the shields, with the brush to kind of hide the HP as well, make it even harder. But this is what Fnatic wants with their composition. Vladimir ulti, Rumble ulti are so powerful near the Baron.
Sanguine Pool's already been used. Exile's taking a lot of damage. Equalizer's burning down. Baron, there's no vision. Exile's getting burst and killed and chunked. Redemption won't save his life. Now Baron is resetting. Soaz flashes in aggressively, gets a kill through the exhaust, trades his life for it. Defensive from Reckless. Deadly flourishes sidestep and Caps. Tides of blood just about to pop. He gets rooted into place. Trigger seed forward. Sanguine Pool once again. Reckless looking for more. Ace in the hole from Samux. Tries to channel it. 90 caliber. Reckless sends him packing.
You can't just do that, run in front of the enemy. You can't start charging your ulti. So many members from Fnatic still alive, and Unicorns opting into that Baron call against Rumble and Vladimir. Even Jin. That's so much value there. Super risky call on Fnatic. They punish them. They get Infernal Drake as a reward.
Decisive play from Fnatic. No hesitation in the Baron pit. They knew the threat. It was fairly obvious, but just committing in its entirety.
Oh, this is so scary to be in this situation. Source actually goes for an ulti that also hits Baron a little bit, but he gets so much damage on Exile, so he goes down. I want to look at how quick Samux gets traps down when they CC a target. So like, boom, stun into trap, so Source actually gets locked down for longer. Small thing to look at, but something the Unicorns value a lot when playing Caitlyn. Kind of making sure Samux can deal more damage. But this ulti here, after they get caps low, Reckless is right. I know he's okay, so Reckless walked into a brush, so he lost vision of him, and he probably thought, oh, I'm just gonna ult this guy, and then Reckless steps out of it, and it's too late for Samux to react.
Okay, screw it, let's just fight again. Why not? Once again, Brox is the target. Caps goes in very, very aggressively. Soaz has already used the equalizer, but Unicorns have peeled away. There's a Chachi with Dominus is being burned and chipped and sucked dry as Caps continues to transfuse.
That was dirty, Trevor.
Again and again and again. It's Vladimir, it's what he does.
You're a naughty boy, Trev, but I like it. So let's see. Another fight in the mid lane. Fnatic double Infernal. The crowd loves it, they agree.
Nobody died, though. A lot of excitement.
That's true.
A lot of energy and just a little bit of disappointment in the end.
You can't say that on air, Trev. It's a family show.
Well, this family show is watching an exquisite performance.
They are watching a very exciting A-rank where two professional teams are just constantly fighting each other, left and right. And you're only allowed to be in the side lane for about, what, 10, 15 seconds? And then you have to leave again.
I agree.
Because now you can slow push bot lane. Chachi's going to push that wave. And then he's going to go up and probably join his team very soon. Clock is ticking. Chachi, one more wave and you have to leave.
Deficio, if Fnatic win this game, would you consider... Oh, Broxah.
Samux doesn't like this brush down here.
I never get to ask a question that we can talk about. If Fnatic win this game, would you consider this the first upset of the spring split because of Fnatic's position? Third, beating first, Group A to B.
Yeah.
Scats of the week, just a little bit shy, but the Unleashed Power gets the kill. Jesus is able to buy a couple of seconds.
And Chachi's here again. Oh, cool. Okay. Back to Baron, baby. Rumble ulti is still there. No ulti from Caps. That's something at least, but you still gotta respect Soaz, who's been playing a great game so far.
Baron, attempt number 2. Look at the vision. Look at the vision.
They should go for the kill.
All right, Broxah gets stunned up. He has a flash to escape. Decent equalizer. Buys some time. Unicorns of Love are split up, and the Redemption gets a pretty good heal. Hilisang running away on the sidelines. Without the ultimates, that could be how UOL could force the play. 3 seconds until Jesus respawns. It'll be another 20 to 30 before he can join his team.
But no mana here in Exile at the moment. No ulti for Hilisang. So Unicorns have to just back away. We're still at that point where no tier 2 turrets have taken damage. No one has even gotten close to them at this point because they keep meeting in the middle of the mid lane and just fight each other. And at some point, it's gonna, break wide open. At some point, someone's gonna win a fight, get a Baron, and use that to just steamroll through multiple towers. But until we get to that point, then we can't really say who's going to win, because that's the thing. It comes down to skill now. It's no longer just pure comp. It really comes down to who can execute in the fights.
It's so funny. Not only is it in skill in executing the fights, but also if you pick the right fights at the right time. Because Unicorns have seemed to set up the Baron. The first time they did, they lost. The second time, they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's just play with vision.
Uh-huh.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's see what we can do. And, I mean, equalizer, make or break, is kind of what this graph is telling me.
Yeah, the only thing now for Fnatic is that in many ways their fights will be 4v5 because Elise just will not bring a whole lot of value. If Broxah can land a cocoon, that would be good for the team, but compared to an Ivern, that is nothing. So it's going to be hard for Broxah to have much of an impact.
It's official. Broxah, hard to have an impact, but what about Samux? He had the lowest damage to enemy champions this game. Samux, historically, damage to 3 or more enemy members. Not particularly impressive.
No, the least of any AD carry in Europe, actually.
And this composition is going to rely on Samux dealing damage on this Caitlyn.
Yes, it definitely will. That's where he has to step up now when the team needs him. He has protection from Xerxes mainly. Also Exile, we have to look at his damage in these fights. And because again there's so many squishy members on Fnatic, Chachi can actually have quite an impact. The teams have decided to
play side lanes.
They're ceasefire for now. They're just like, hang on, give it a little bit of time.
Is that because somebody has like flashes not available? Exile on UOL, Broxah for Fnatic.
It has actually given Fnatic full river control. They're probably hiding in here. They are actually right there.
They are.
Rush will spot them from Xerxes. Another thing about Ivern is it's really easy to check these blind spots.
Yeah.
Pop down W.
Plants.
It always looks weird, you know, why do you put a brush on a brush? But it's because...
I mean, that's called a forest. So, like, you know, they're pretty important. They're helpful.
It's not really a forest when it's a brush on a brush. You need a tree in a forest.
It'd be like the felt. Is that a word, you know? Yeah.
Felt, maybe.
Yeah.
You could just say it's...
Grasslands,
it's
highlands.
A grassland, yeah. It's a field.
Look at Vizichachi. He's in the tri-bush, starting to recall. Wants to use that TP.
Oh, Regis might stop his recall.
Potential fight. No. It's Soaz unable to interrupt either.
So what's happening here? We haven't seen a fight in like a few minutes. Like, I'm kind of shaking a little bit. I'm like, come on. Like, I need my fights.
Well, it looks like they're getting set up at the very least. Unicorns of Life pushing forward. Another Infernal Drake. A spicy game 3. Spicy team fights.
Fnatic sitting on 2 so far. They want the third one.
Oh, Broxah. He's already used the cocoon onto the Scuttle Crab. Actually tagged that one. Caps wants to flank. Where's the equalizer? That's going to split up Unicorns of Love. Caps throws down the Hemo Plague, and all of Unicorns are running. Hylissang is down. So is Soaz. They've traded back and forth. Stranglethorns buys some time, but it just gets him a cupcake. It's delicious and sweet, but not enough to get more kills.
1 for 1, but Renekton is very low. He has teleport. Infernal Drake dying. Oh, small reset, small reset.
Big reset, big reset, small reset.
Okay, they got it. 3 Infernals for Fnatic now. That is huge. Unicorns of Love actually made Broxah useful in that fight because they used the ultis on him. He was just kind of sitting there, buying time for the rest of Fnatic, and Source came in with ulti, flashed him with Flame Spreader. And by the way, I'm not flaming Broxah as a player, just his champion compared to Ivern, of course. But if you get the Malzahar to ulti you, that's perfect. Yeah. You're just tanking damage.
Job done indeed.
Like, this is how he's actually going to be useful in this fight. You know, he goes in, he's like, oh, I'm here. All right, I'm ultied. And they actually don't follow up. They don't get him down. So a lot of damage coming down from both Reckless and Soaz and Caps, of course. They get that 1 kill. And then Renekton has to go back. And this is enough for Fnatic to get a 3rd Infernal. Absolutely insane when you stack AP on so many champions.
Deficio, at 35.5 minutes time, the Elder Drake will spawn. This game has just been about team fight into team fight into team fight. A triple Inferno Elder is going to be a juicy, juicy target for Fnatic.
Oh yes, definitely will be. Unicorns kind of on the back foot because of it. So much extra scaling for the Fnatic lineup. And it's not like they've been lucky with the Drakes or anything, like, because the game has been so even. The fact they've secured 3 of them in a row is just well played by Fnatic.
They managed to win fights at the time Dragon was available. And then, you know, that turn taker, because you look at every other metric, even on gold, almost even on kills, even on towers, the inner turrets are just so happy right now. They're not under threat.
No one is going to touch them. Touch someone in the mid lane, though.
Cannot afford to get caught. He was rooted by that deadly flourish. Equalizer, that's going to get the locket. And now Unicorns also use the redemption. What did it cost them? A curtain call as well as an equalizer. Keep your eyes on Samux. He's been caught several times this game already, is the lowest team fight damage dealer ADC in the league. And now he's in a composition that he needs to step up. That's the Unicorn's death push.
Yeah. Let's remember, Unicorns, in order to start a fight, probably rely a lot on Hylissang, flashing in and finding the right target. But there's QSS on Reckless, QSS on Caps, none on Soas yet. You can flash on Soas, and if you can kill him before he can ulti, that will be huge for Unicorns. They're on the Baron with the brush. Chachi showing they haven't started it yet. Can do it now, though.
Little plant just giving some vision.
Oh, Source is far away. No ulti as well on Source. That is huge. Remember, Fnatic is the R composition. Click R, win the game.
Stranglethorns is available. Caps has Hemo Plague. Baron's going very, very low. 4,000 HP.
Huge one.
Hemo Plague's been used into the pit. Goes Broxah. Look at the damage from Hemo Plague. Redemption heals up, but Caps is down. Caps is dead. Equalizer's still a few seconds away. They've traded 1 for 1. With Visit Chachi down and Caps down, what more can Soas do?
Oh, God. Stop going for Baron when they're live.
Double kill
Snipe.
for Reckless.
Man, you're just setting up this Vladimir. Caps doesn't need any CC in front of him when they're all grouped at Baron. Iron is going to try and steal.
No flash available to Xerxes. Can still get over the pit.
Here's Samux.
With his kit. Samux has got a couple of traps. Fnatic, they don't want to risk it. Brox is tanking up the Baron autos.
They're stopping, actually, because, again, they know Xerxes behind. Smite is available.
Gonna look to burst. Here comes Hylissang as well. Nethergrass not available. Goes into the
He gets it!
Puts up! Unicorns get the Baron steal. Brox is killed as well. Samux on a killing spree. And now all of a sudden, Call of the Void. That's gonna silence up Soas and Reckless. Ace in the hole, body blocked by Reckless.
Oh,
teleport comes down for Chachi. Why not go full chaos? Reckless is gonna get run down. Visit Chachi, culls the meek, slices and dices, sets the prices and sends Fnatic home.
So, Baron for Unicorns of Love in the end. Playing the long con, I guess, getting that one after losing the fight. Tower as well. Can they push for more? Because Vladimir's the only one here defending. Can't really get in and wave clear when there's so many members around you. Have that Caitlyn.
It's official. EU Barons, man.
EU Barons. Fnatic Unicorns of Love Barons as well.
Nethergrass onto Soas.
Got his QSS now.
He's going to use that QSS to get away, but the inhibitor is broken wide. Xerxes at 009.
Oh, man.
He has more than a license to kill, but it's the Baron that he kills.
Oh, and Fnatic, they're like, we don't want to DPS it down because he might steal it. And surprise, he gets it. Broxah will die as well. So they stayed around for such a long time to try and avoid Xerxes stealing it. Ended up taking more damage because of it. So there was no way they could fight back after they actually lost the Baron. Ended up becoming a lose-lose situation for Fnatic. Even losing their AD carry. And Inhib is down now. That's what happens when you do a 50-50 Baron, kids. Don't do it at home.
Unicorns accelerate to the lead. 35 minutes in. Elder Dragon, as we talked about, will be up just shy of 36 minutes. And Unicorns do not want Fnatic to pick that up. The supers, that'll keep Fnatic busy in the top lane.
And you got pushing bot lane. Now remember, it's all about slow pushes all game long. It's been the same. So, big wave bot lane. Ulti from Soas.
Felt like that's
a whole lot.
little bit optimistic.
Yeah, Xerxes is good with the locket every time.
Yeah.
And blocks quite a lot of damage. So that's 2 big ultis down for Fnatic. Finding Caps.
All right, Hemo Plague, Flash, Ignite, the whole kit is available to Caps. So has already used the Equalizer. We just caught that a second ago. Redemption will likely just slow him in place. Hourglass buys a couple extra seconds, and Samux doesn't care. Piltover Peacemaker takes him down. Vizichachi was able to solo Caps, and Unicorns of Love, they've taken absolute control of this game.
And they do not care about your Infernal Drakes. They're taking your base at the moment. 6k goal lead for them. At some point, this game had to just break wide open. No surprises coming from a Baron steal after such a risky call at first. And now they're getting everything, Trevor. They're getting absolutely everything.
Yeah, it really, really is.
Even have a buffed up minion.
Yeah, gonna be on that melee minion, and this will be the second inhibitor falling. 3 members of Fnatic in a defense situation. Once again, the wave clear, not the greatest. This is not the same team composition that we saw in game number 1, and Unicorns of Love. A lot more tools available to them to try and close this game out.
Just chasing down Caps, applied it slow before the pool. And Chachi doesn't really mind the Vladimir damage. It's always weird casting these replays, because it's like, you don't really want to play-by-play cast them, but at the same time, there's not a whole lot to say. It's like, yes, he chased him and killed him.
So just say that. You're allowed to.
He chased him and he killed him.
You're well within your prerogative to do so.
Big, strong Crocodile, who after the mistake in the early game, has been bouncing back really well.
He has.
Chachi has had quite some impact in these fights.
And Elder Dragon, the first of the game that Unicorns will get their hands on now. No contest from Fnatic because they're dealing with double supers. Right, Unicorns, you've had a little over an hour to figure out how to kill a Nexus.
Careful. He might walk into a trap here. Fnatic's in the brush.
To kill a Nexus with double supers.
Oh, he's walking in there! Oh, baby, he's dead.
Okay, what did it cost? What did it cost? Stranglethorns.
You're playing against Fnatic. It's the one thing.
No, you've got to be kidding. You've got to be kidding me. With double, triple inhibitors down, Fnatic are forcing Unicorns away.
They're buying time, Trev. They're buying time at the moment. Samax with some good moves. Stayed alive. Does have some lifesteal as well. Actually, no, he doesn't pack any lifesteal just yet.
Triple supers in the bottom lane. Vizichachi's got a teleport available. He can join in 30 seconds.
Yeah, but so, Samax has no lifesteal, so he's on 50% HP. That means Caps can flash and kill him instantly. Redemption takes time. So Samax has to be so careful. Oh, careful, please.
Taking a lot of damage. There's no curtain call, though. No equalizer either. And super minions moving onto the base. Luckily, Caps has got those Tides of Blood. That can at least deal with a couple more minions per cast.
Yeah, and for this next fight, again, I'm looking at Caps just flashing on Samax. No flash on Caitlyn. 50% HP. No heal either.
Equalizer still a long time before it's available for Fnatic. Vizichachi's alive. He's teleporting onto the bottom lane. Rooted. No, he's not going to be able to. Slices away. Samax has been able to sustain, get his HP back up. Exile gonna get the shield from Xerxes, and look at those Nexus turrets, down to 50% on the top one, Deficio.
Yeah, so they're pushing in with Elder Drake. So much pressure. They just gotta get a few hits on these towers every single time, and then they will drop eventually.
There's the flash forward onto Samax. Goes golden. Caps is buying some time. Equalizer chunking down, but look at the shields and the heals. There's so much to work with. Caps will get dropped down as Chachi runs him across the map. The Nether Grasp was enough time. The Unicorns of Love have got both of the Nexus turrets. And there's the flash forward. Soaz gets Exile, gets Hillsong. That's a golden Soaz. Broxa is under pressure. Samax still on full HP. Rectus is trying to get the kills. It simply won't matter. The Unicorns of Love, they get the 4th kill of the fight, turn their attention to the Nexus, and they will win 2-1 over Fnatic.
Oh man, what a fun game to watch if you like some team fights. Over and over, just fighting around the mid lane, then the Baron. And in the end, we talked so much about the Iron, the late game, Locket, Redemption, everything. It was enough to stop Fnatic from getting people low enough with their click R and win composition. Once Fnatic fell behind, it just felt like they didn't have the damage to kill anyone. And as we mentioned as well, like huge difference in jungle scaling. Iron being the best late game, at least being the worst late game.
And in this particular game, both team compositions, really favor one particular style. Really favor grouping up, fighting. Unicorns, I'm actually impressed with the majority of the Unicorns game. Their early game in both game 1 and 2 was very good, very decisive, still very good at their team fights. Baron play has been pretty good. Just the ending in game number 1.
I mean, that's the thing, you gotta appreciate it for the style they do play. It's very entertaining. It is so rarely the clean, crisp macro. Game 1, we saw some of it, but the thing for Unicorns again is they have this tempo in the way they're playing that a lot of European teams can't deal with when they really turn it up. Some of the top teams, like G2, Misfits, have shown they can match it, but teams underneath the Unicorns have not been able to win these fights against them, and that's why they can take this 2-1 series, because they were winning game 1 as well so hard. Like they've been winning 3 games, honestly.
Yes.
And that's why, they're the correct winner of the series, but it was a hard-fought battle.
It was a very hard-fought battle, and I think you have to give some credit here to Fnatic. Team compositions felt a lot cleaner, made a lot more sense. Playing those compositions despite the early game.
I still think there's some questions. Like, it's not as bad as last week, where it was just straight up like your game is lost in pick and ban phase. It's just a lot of the comps are just very hard to play.
Yeah.
Like this one as well, where you got to time ultis without like CC to set it up properly. It can be really difficult to execute, and that's what we see. Like, there's a lot of fights where, oh, the Rumble ulti is pretty good, but then the Vladimir is not in position, and then the other way around the other time. So when you can't sync together like that, these kind of comps, they get really difficult to play.
They do, and I mean, you saw that throughout a number of fights. When Fnatic were given the opportunity in the mid to late game, they were still winning team fights and still winning opportunities against one of the best team fighting teams in the league. And
a lot around Baron.
For a team like Fnatic, who have had such a downswing and been on such a mixed, topsy-turvy start to the split, this is a step in the right direction, albeit a small one.
Yeah, I'd say it is. Like, I said this earlier in the series, like Jesus were tweeting about how he felt like the practice was going the right way now, and he didn't actually care too much if they won or lost because they were going in the right direction in this specific series. So I think for Fnatic, it's all about playoffs.
Yes.
Like, it's all about just locking that third place in Group A, and then you have now 3-4 weeks of like boot camping where if you're on the right track, you need to really show it. Otherwise, you come into playoffs as the weakest team.
Luckily for Fnatic, they are in Group A, where they have 4 wins and 5 losses. The next team directly behind them is currently Giants and Rockets, who are both at 1 win and 7 losses. So they're actually in a pretty comfortable lead in third. In a safe spot. On Sunday, we will see Giants taking on Origin. So there's another possibility that there's another game buffer. We do have a couple of replays for you guys while we wait for some of the players to head up to the analyst desk. So let's take a look at one of those 22-minute Baron fights. And I recall correctly, this is the one that Fnatic actually won.
Yeah, it is where, 5 members grouped together, and there's a Rumble ulti coming down, hitting some of them. Exile especially took a lot of damage here. Nice Jhin ulti, and we saw a lot of these Baron fights that allowed Fnatic to get a lot of good engages. Like, the Baron kind of became their engage for Fnatic in that sense, because it was grouping unicorns together, and they could land these ultis on the side of Fnatic. Samax with their R as well here. Clearly not seeing a Reckless in the brush, and then it's too late when he actually realizes there are still members around.
Yep. Getting dunked. I think it was a deadly flourish that took him out at the end. And it was at this point in the game that I started feeling a little optimistic for Fnatic, but as we advanced to 29 minutes, this is another fight that looked very good for Fnatic.
Yeah, exactly, and same kind of setup. This time they're together, they get the Rumble ulti down, get the Vladimir ulti in, and it gets to be a 1-for-1, which is not exactly all they were looking for. They get Inferno Drake though, which is good for them. Like, at this point we were, 3 Infernos, a lot of AoE damage, but the Iron shielding, the redemption, and then the fact that I don't think Fnatic actually got a proper 5-on-5 after this one.
No.
Always one guy was dead or didn't have an ulti. Like when the Baron started and Unicorns actually were losing the fight, Source wasn't there instantly. And then Xerxes sitting and stealing. Like, we can't not talk about the Baron steal. No. Because Fnatic were basically winning.
They were in the pit, and you could actually almost feel the tension of how they were talking about it. Like,
don't kill
on the Baron,
wait.
off the Baron. Broxton's being tagged by Baron, run away from Baron. Do we stay on Baron? What do we do? And then Xerxes is like, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Thanks, bro. And
it happens so often.
50, it happens shockingly often.
I kind of feel like we see it less and less the last few weeks, but also because I feel like some of the games have been a bit more one-sided. Obviously, yesterday in Origin, Rocket getting, 8 Barons in a row?
8 Barons over the course, and I think it was 9 in total for the series.
We can't use that example.
That was a particularly special one. So that went to 3 games. Today went to 3 games.
Both series.
My voice is struggling, and I'm still casting the next 2 days. So this is going to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be fun. Once again, just to update you guys, we are waiting for the players to head up to the analyst desk. So we will be chatting there in just a moment. But the impact of these games, you're starting to see very, very clear divides between 1 and 2 and 3. And yes, they were already there and already existing. But even a team like Unicorn, who had that dip just before IEM, had a decent win last week, and now a pretty strong showing against Fnatic. If you look at the bigger picture, they're finding their groove again when we were asking, hey, can UOL do it?
I think we just have different tiers in Europe at the moment, where I feel like G2 is the only team kind of sitting alone at the top. And then it's like Misfits, Unicorns, H2K, in the same one, and then you can argue is Misfit stronger than Unicorns, or the other way around, whatever. And then it goes down to like Splice Fnatic, and then it goes further down to the bottom 4 teams.
And the question is, how much did Splice gain with today's performance?
I think they gained a lot.
We'll talk about that in just a moment, because we do have to award Player of the Series. It is ready to talk about, and it is going to be Xerxes. 2 Rengar games to open the series. Very good impact, very good performance. His Ivern, he went unkilled 0-0-14 by the end of the game. Like instantaneous locket presses. That equalizer was down and the locket was ready.
Stealing the Baron, which was a key thing for Unicorns to actually get that big advantage in the end. So overall, a really good jungle performance. Didn't get to show us Elise or Lee Sin, which are 2 picks he doesn't really play. They could just ban them away though in this series. And because you get Rengar, because his Ivern were back in the meta now, or back in play, he had a really good performance.
He did indeed. The Unicorns of Love were victorious this evening. And Exile is joining the post-game lobby to help wrap up the day. Take it away.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, and welcome everybody to the post-game lobby, where Krepo and I are now joined by Exile, the mid laner for the Unicorns of Love. Congratulations, hard-fought series, it looked like.
Yeah, it was kind of tough series. I felt like we played the first 2 games really clean. Actually, third game, we fell behind early game, but yeah, we managed to close it out.
I love how you say, I think we played the first 2 games really clean, but then that first game ending, so up until that point, and what happened there?
I think in the first game was quite a drafting mistake that we let Varus open, actually, because Varus is like able to stall the game to 60 minutes, and yeah, then they won a team fight. But yeah, we fixed this for game 2 and 3, and then we saw the results.
Yeah, guys, we are going to take a look at that moment once again, because it was a very impressive fight, though, from Fnatic as well.
Yeah, it was just like their comp was catered around team fights. Exile, looking back at that moment right here, do you think it was wise just taking that fight, or should you guys have just went back to the split push, or did you feel if you didn't take the fight right here, you would lose like Baron and Dragon, for example?
We felt here actually that we are like at a stronger point, especially because we have like Trundle-wise Jhin who can like melt the Nautilus with the Trundle. So we felt like quite comfortable. But yeah, it turns out that the team fighting is actually quite strong because we can't really follow up with the DPS when there's like Victor ult and Graves as well. So yeah, this was like quite a mistake to take probably. But I think that overall, yeah, we shouldn't even let it to get to this point.
Yeah, but in the end, as you say, you guys did win the 2 following games, and I thought that the game 3 was of maybe the highest level and reminded me of kind of the old Fnatic UOL brawls. It seems like you guys were more even and had even fights. But you guys did have to rely on that Baron steal in the end. Xerxes also got player of the series for that one. What was the communication like? Did he say, I got it, guys?
Here we thought that we just go for the 50-50 basically, because we saw that Jhin has the 4 shot, so we were like calling this out and trying to like avoid Jhin to let Jhin to the Baron. Worked out quite fine, and then in the end we got this.
Yeah, quite a few pro players that were watching the series at home were tweeting about it as well. The correct call here for Fnatic is to sync up their smite with the 4th bullet from Jhin, and then it's something, I think, almost like 2,000 damage. There's no way anybody can ever steal it against that if you do it on the kind of the same count or the same frame. So it was a good call then from Unicorns to kind of get it before that ever gets communicated by Fnatic.
Also, you were saying how well Xerxes is actually really, really good at this specifically.
I mean, he was 1v4 before Samix arrived kind of to back you guys up. He was stalling solo, and the threat of him stealing. I think then vision went out. You guys did you guys have vision at all times on the Nashor, or did at one point, I think the brush that he spawned gave him some vision, but I felt like it blanked out for a few seconds where they could have burned it.
Yeah, it's blanking out for like a few seconds when you like put the bush, but I felt like at the most important point when the Baron got low, then we had vision, and then we had really good communication and controlled the situation well.
Yeah, and you close it out in the end. Before we talk some more about the Unicorns, I also just want to ask your opinion on Fnatic, because they showed some good moments here after there was a bit of doubt after their match versus H2K last week. What do you think of their relative level now?
I think that Fnatic is like not on the highest level like with H2K, Misfits and G2 right now. But I believe that they have a lot of potential to become like a really strong team. And yeah, it takes some time to them to like play together well and figure stuff out. Also, I feel like the draft sometimes is quite weird. But I guess people spoke about this past weeks as well. But yeah, I think they have a lot of potential and just needs time to grow.
How was laning against Caps? Because I feel like he's a bit of a different player than most mids. In the Rise versus Victor matchup, I felt like he was going for a lot of kind of, in my opinion, cocky trades that he ends up blowing his Ghost Flash afterwards. I think that was a trade after which you roamed bottom, actually. And then also like the Vladimir all-ins, because we kind of saw like 2 sides of Caps.
I feel like Caps is mechanically insanely player. Like he's playing this really well, but I feel like on the same side, like he's relying too much on this. Like he's not playing matchups sometimes as he would, but he's like then going to more like trading and outplaying the enemy. But he's really good at this, so yeah. I think like mechanically he's probably the best player I've played against.
How hard is it to hit skill shots on caps?
He's juking quite a lot, but yeah, you just need to be patient. And then he's like juking too much, and then it's quite easy to hit.
Do you wait for people to kind of like juke and then turn, or do you wait for to see a pattern in their jukes, or do you know like certain players, do they juke in certain directions, or how does a mid laner know how to play around jukes?
You know, against some players, like they move quite cocky, like Kevs, when he's like juking all the time and tries to outplay. And yeah, this is just like basically you need to be patient once you realize this in game. And then at one point when he's juking all the time, then he's getting into a bad spot. And it's like sometimes easier to hit skill shots.
Would you consider yourself as cocky in lane?
I think I used to play a quite cocky style when I played Vladimir and stuff like this.
Yeah, so.
Oh my gosh, gotta bring it up again.
But I don't think I'm playing too cocky. Sometimes, and I think I get punished for this really well.
Yeah, in general, if we look at your growth, we talked about IEM, and Xerxes had a comment that his eyes were opened there, the fact that, you know, being out-jungled by Karsa and kind of the pressure of playing versus other teams. How was that tournament for you, and how do you think you've kind of overcome what is there, and then looking ahead now with the Unicorns above?
When we entered IEM, we felt like a really strong team. At first, like, we beat Flash Wolves in the past, so we were like, okay, we can do this again. And we scrimmed Flash Wolves at the tournament, like at Katowice. And turned out they actually improved so much, and like the macro plays insane right now. And yeah, we knew that they're gonna win the entire tournament, and they like did it well. So.
All right, but about the Unicorns, how did you guys kind of refine your momentum? It must have been really important because we, as looking from the outside in, thought, well, this could be a pivotal moment. You know, you guys had the loss to G2, then the loss at IEM, then versus H2K. So it could have been kind of not H2K. I am messing my words up. Am I? Whatever. Yeah. So we felt that the momentum might slip out of your favor en route to playoffs. Where do you think you're at right now?
I think that like before we entered IM and also the game against G2, we felt like we were on a really good spot, and we didn't really know like especially where to improve like a lot. But when we played IM, we like saw a lot of flaws that we have, and also a good way to fix this. Like we were all working quite hard on this, and I think that we got like a lot better with side lanes control and overall vision. And yeah, so like we were working on those points and was working out quite fun.
It was Misfits, by the way. Yeah. Just remembered.
Great catch. Do you feel that in the last game versus Fnatic, it felt a bit like an ARAM at times? Everybody was mid. Was it like a choice for you guys not to go to the side lanes, or is this just like when things get really tough for Unicorns, side lane control starts like falling down?
Basically, when you're like not strong on the map clearly, then it's more like who controls the mid lane basically controls the game. And yeah, this is why we're all basically up in mid, because we go mid lane as 4 or 5 people, and they want to get mid lane control as well, and then this game turns to be an ARAM. But I think in the entire game, like the sides were either slow pushing towards us or super hard pushing towards the enemy, so they lose farm either way at one point, or we get pressure. And yeah, I think like we had quite good control over the game.
You did, and you guys closed it out, so fantastic on that account. We also had another series to start off the day, which was Splyce versus G2, a rematch of our summer finals. And well, Splyce did their best, and they started off great.
Yeah, it was a really fun series to watch. It was really close in this particular moment here, and a couple of good openers for Splyce. A couple seconds later, though, and this is an entirely different game. Sadly, they couldn't really continue on the momentum, and we saw some really good plays from G2, especially Svenz as well.
Were you able to catch some of these games, or were you guys?
We saw like some parts of the game when we were like getting ready for the game. Yeah, overall, I think Splyce played really well. First game especially, they punished G2's mistake, like basically like textbook. And yeah, I think the games after, G2 just showed where they're first place.
Yeah, this was a little cocky though. I mean, Mickey already died. He goes in for a deep ward, and then they go for Raptors instead of getting the hell out of dodge. And this essentially the game's over here. If you give 4 kills here to G2, you can close the books and go next. Yeah,
we saw a lot of reactions coming out after the series in general. Also, Splyce being like, "Hey, we're not. Of course, we're disappointed with the loss, but if you lose to the league leaders and you put up this kind of a fight, then that is relatively okay."
Yeah, true, they did some good stalling. I just would have liked to see the second game without that like really aggressive face check there. Because some of these later fights here, for example, if Trashy hits the body slam, we see at least a stall out fight. overall, it was definitely an improvement for Spice, which is what they were looking for. They were looking for growth, not taking a victory off the kind of best team in Europe.
Yeah, Ari and well, we've seen a lot more Ari recently, and in the Echo mid lane as well. What do you think of kind of the evolution now in mid lane, and these picks all of a sudden become available?
I feel like most mid laners actually got nerfed like past matches, and like Wise, especially LeBlanc, even Syndra. And yeah, this just enables like more variety in mid lane. Like you have those weaker picks, which were weaker back then, like coming back now because yeah, the meta picks got weaker. But I feel like Orianna is like insanely strong right now, Syndra as well. Yeah, I think it's overall quite nice that there's more variety coming up in mid lane.
Yeah, which is always fun to watch, especially when you have strong mid laners. Perks and Senkox here. We're focusing a lot about, well, player of the series was Ven, but in the mid lane, Perks seems to be having a good split so far, and he could be on his way to high highs. How do you think he's been playing?
I think that Perks is like the split playing consistently on a really high level. Whenever we scrimmed against him, he was like performing really well. And yeah, I think that he's just like keeping up the performance, and that's really nice to see.
Perks or Febiven?
Perks.
Perks? Okay.
You want to ask why, or do you want to not hard?
I mean, I was going to have like a statement question and
All
go
right,
back to
cool.
you, but why?
Why? I think that Perks is better up there.
Okay, great.
No, perfect. Just, you know, with 3 best-of-3s remaining in cross-group play, here is how the teams stand. And a very important note there, if Vitality lose tomorrow, the Unicorns will be locked in for playoffs. So, I mean, it's always kind of BM to, you know, cheer for someone losing, but it would, of course, be good for you guys if you're locked in the playoffs. However, it doesn't look likely that you fall out of playoffs. I don't even think that's something that's on your mind right now.
No, we are like, they are not even... Like, we don't even want to be like 6th spot getting into playoffs. This would be already a disappointment for us.
Yeah, well, we will see what happens there. Of course, Fnatic picking, well, could have picked up a super important win, but it doesn't seem like they'll be falling out of playoffs either. The question is, can they kind of improve enough to really make something happen in playoffs, yes or no?
Yeah, that's what we need to see. We saw some growth. I don't think there was any like atrocious draft today. I think they all had coherence, they all had a purpose, they all had clear win conditions that they could play to. They were given Varus over, so that definitely helps in game 1, and I think in game 3, Fnatic could have easily won that series, so definitely improvement.
Yeah, and the Unicorns of Love maybe to end the day, you guys are 1 leg in the playoffs and then possibly locking it in the next couple of matches. So Hamburg playing on that stage, that would be a very good experience for you as a German player, I can imagine.
Yeah, I'm looking really forward to it. It's like when I heard that we play in Hamburg for the finals, I was like super hyped and super motivated to go there. Because like Hamburg is a beautiful city, and I've been there before, and it's like insanely nice, the entire harbor. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to going.
Yeah. The final or the 3rd place match, and I don't mean this as BM, I just mean like there's a good chance to play there. Either way, that's where we'll be going in the Barclaycard Arena in Hamburg. But for the European LCS here from Berlin, we will be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central European Time with 2 matchups for your Saturday night, Roccat versus Vitality and Misfits versus H2K. And then we will have 1 more best-of-3 on Sunday. Roccat versus Vitality, we already saw them in action, and they need points on the board. And Misfits versus H2K is going to be a really, really nice matchup. We talked about how important it is.
Yeah, I'm loving it. We get 1 game with extremely high, close level of League of Legends where every fan will enjoy it, and then we get Misfits versus H2K.
I mean, there is charm in like the.
No, I love relegation bowls. It's sloppy, it's dirty. All these teams are used to losing. Their strategies don't really matter as much. You can individually outplay your opponent's stills. It's more about like how much mental fortitude you have, because it's not about the clean, super perfect game that we see in the Telecom Wars. Is just pick Swain, pick some niche pick, whip out the Blitzcrank, I don't care. Just try and surprise your opponent and put them on tilt.
All right, so then give me predictions. Roccat Vitality, Misfits H2K.
I think Vitality will win, and I think H2K will win.
I go for Vitality and Misfits.
Why the choice for Misfits?
I think that Misfits is just playing as a team really well together. Like they showed a lot of growth, and there's a lot of potential to go. And I think that overall they are top set of the map, like mid, top, and jungle. They are like working insanely well together, and I'm not sure if H2K can stop this. Do they have a chance to win the split, Misfits? No, I don't think they have a chance to win the split, actually. Because you guys are going to win. All right, cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Exile, and congratulations as well. Time for us to log off for tonight. Thank you so much, and we'll see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Central European Time. That is 7 a.m. Pacific as the EULCS 2017 Spring Split continues. Have a great night, guys and girls.
You wanted to see a barrel, we may see it here. Trashy uses it, Trick gets cut down, that's first blood. Expect is next, and Splice, they're taking control.
Good up. Nice. I'm done. I can stop shot. I can block.
Senkux over the wall. He wants Tukes. He wants it. Oh, gets taken down in the end. Splice are going to move up 1-0 in the series.
Woo, baby. I told you it's easy win.
As the overstays well from Tommy moving forward. Oh no, the charm hits. He's knocked out. Sven's on the back line. He's doing his best bang impression. Wants to keep the fight going. He goes through another one. That is good for G2. Yeah. Game 2, G2 tie it up. We're gonna go to a game 3. What a series so far.
Can I go? Flash for us. Nice. Good job.
Oh no, Trashy. He's done. Take a seat. Pop.
Because now we can actually do it. Okay, now we rush it. Nice.
G2 take game 3.
Boxer can't help. Jesus is down. Unicorns decide to dive. Reckless gets dunked by Samus.
Take it slow. Nice.
Hey, can you swim? I don't have swim. I don't have it. Okay. Holy shit, man.
Oh, so close. Fnatic got the flash. Reckless. Piercing arrow gets a kill.
One for late, boys.
Fnatic, they're winning the fight! Unicorns are running away! Xerxes caught! Xerxes killed! Reckless is unstoppable!
Ringo. Good triangle. Peel. Don't get the KD, just hit the Oh, what a game! You're on the mid-screen.
5.
No, you're kidding!
Oh, the takedown from behind!
The Baron down to 1200! Picked up by Fnatic! How many people died? Jesus is killed, Soaz is killed! The Nexus turret is down, the Nexus is falling! Unicorns of Love force a deciding game!
Good job, boys.
They're saying as well, near the goal spot of them goes into the answer. Unicorns get the Baron steal! Brox is killed as well! The Unicorns of Love, they get the 4th kill of the fight, turn their attention to the Nexus, and they will win 2-1 over Fnatic!
What a fun game to watch if you like some team fights.